Welcome, super friends, to my channel. Today, it's all about Superman again as we open up the 1/12 Collective Superman action figure. This is the only MEZCO 1/12 Collective action figure that I have. And you know, I mean, it's me, right? If I'm gonna have one, it's gonna be Soupy. So let's take a closer look at the packaging and then open them up. On the back here we have some of the promotional images that we were given prior to the release of the 1/12 Superman. And I want to take just a moment to note that the trunks on the back of the package here are actually different than what we get in the package. They actually did undergo a few different changes along with how the cape attached to the costume before it was released. So none of these pictures are actually an accurate representation of what is in the package. Big fat Superman S, just like my t-shirt, emblazoned on the front. We just slide the sleeve, and then there's another big fat Superman S emblazoned on the front, just like my t-shirt. And then it opens up like this. Ba-boom! Just like that, like a book. And we get a Jim Lee image, an image of a Jim Lee Superman right here in the front. And then we get Soupy on the inside. I do want to be completely transparent and tell you that I haven't really looked at this figure, but I did pop him out quickly to pop the plastic and stuff that was in front of him off so that he would look better on camera before I took him out of the package. But yeah, this is what we get. Let's take him out. And just, there we go. Come on out, careful. There we go. So here are all the items that you get, and they're behind a protective bubble. So I'm not just gonna pull them off and have a yard sale right here on my review table. So I'm gonna show you everything individually one by one. In the package, we get one bottle city of Candor. This is really, really cool. Eventually, when I make my Fortress of Solitude diorama, this will be perfect to go in there. I'll have a bottle city of Candor to go in my fortress. You also get two chains, and these are bendy chains, so that, you know, Superman can be breaking them and stuff like that. So, two chains. You get this weensy little section of kryptonite crystals. 3 magnetic bullet impacts that will actually stick to Superman's S insignia on his chest. You get the angry extra heat vision head. Kind of creepy that they didn't paint the eyebrows. I get why they didn't do it, but I would have preferred they paint the eyebrows. But anyway, you get the extra Superman head. These extra 2 claw/loose dangly hands. 2 flight hands. Not bad. They look really good. You get all these bits that attach to his cape, so you can have him in flying poses and have his cape kind of out behind him. I guess that was their way of not doing a wired cape. You get these bits, a figure stand, and a flight stand that attaches to the figure stand, obviously. This pops out, and this pops in, just like that. And you get a handy dandy MEZCO 1/12 bag to put all your little bits in so you don't lose them. But I'm just going to put all mine back in the box when I'm done, so the bag will go back in the box too. And last but not least, you get Superman, which is the reason why you bought it, and the reason why you're watching the video. You don't want to see me ramble on about all the extra bits. You really just want to see what Superman looks like. Hey, me too. This is the closest I've actually seen him, so we're seeing him together for the first time. And what are my first initial thoughts about this figure? Well, I like it. It's impressive. I like the blue color that they've chosen. Not a big fan of the S kind of hanging off the shirt like that. That's kind of weird. I'm not very pleased with the belt. I'm just being honest here. I've never seen Superman fly around with that. I wanted Superman to have the red loops on his belt, you know? And they didn't do that. The outside undies, as I mentioned before, are actually different than on the package. I don't mind the weird painted undies. Some people don't like it. To me, that's not something that would stop me from purchasing this figure. I love the way the cape actually attaches into his costume like that. I think it attaches really, really nicely like that. So, I mean, the costume looks good. The S looks nice. The S looks really, really nice. I'm just not a big fan of it sticking off the costume like that. And again, not a fan of them using a non-comic accurate belt. Maybe it looked like that in a comic or two, but we all know that that's not really what his belt is supposed to look like in this costume. And then you've got his boots. I mean, the boots look really, really nice. There's a little hint of them looking just a little bit like they did in Superman Returns, the Brandon Routh boots. But, I mean, I really, really like those too. So, yeah, here's what we get. The cape itself drapes over Superman's shoulders. Quite nice, if that's what you want to do. Looks really nice. The head sculpt, if we get in nice and close and have a look at Superman's head, it looks really good. I seem to have got one eye painted just a little bit wonky. But other than that, I mean, this is probably one of the best Superman head sculpts that I've seen. One of the better ones. It looks real, but also comic accurate at the same time. So no real complaints there with the head. I know a lot of people replace the head, and I could do that too, but I'd also be very happy just to keep this one on here. So yeah, that's what the figure looks like. Articulation for Superman is going to be as follows. The head actually has articulation right here at the lower neck, and then obviously the head's on a ball joint. So that gives you some good posability for the head for flight. And then he's also got articulation right here and articulation up here, which is typical for MEZCO. He's got the shoulder articulation, and I mean, it can go up quite a bit. That's a lot of articulation. You got your shoulder, sorry, you got your bicep swivel, you have your elbow. I'm not sure if it's double jointed or not because I haven't peeked under the costume. I'm going to assume by the feeling of it that this is not. Oh, no, you know what? I eat my words. We have double jointed elbows here, boys and girls. We have double jointed elbows. Very, very cool. Then we have the groin articulation, which is going to be typical of MEZCO. If you're familiar with MEZCO, you'll know what their groin articulation is like. We have articulation right here. If you can see that line there, below there, above the leg, but below the groin here. We have the knee articulation, and it's a double jointed knee. And then we have the ankle articulation, which, you know, it's a rocker, and it also goes that far back and that far forward. So, I mean, there's plenty of articulation in these figures. Oh, and the wrists themselves are on, is that a swivel? That's a ball joint swivel, I believe. Hinge swivel. And they're also ball jointed in here like that. So there's a lot of articulation going on in this Superman figure. Very, very cool indeed. Here's what he looks like with the angry heat vision head attached. Not too shabby, looks pretty cool. As for the little magnetic bullet impacts, well, they just stick right there on his S, just like that. Ta-da! Which is neat, and you can pose him with someone, you know, shooting at him and the bullet's bouncing off of his big target S on his chest. And here he is on the flight stand, and we can see that it's a really sturdily built flight stand, and it looks really, really nice. Seriously, folks, in hand, this is a very impressive Superman figure that MEZCO has given us, and it makes an excellent additive to your Superman collection or MEZCO collection. And here for size comparison, I've got two other of my favorite Superman figures. On the He-Man buck, we have the Dark Knight Returns Superman, and on the DC Universe Classics buck, we have the previously unreleased lighter blue Superman action figure. So this will give you a really good idea of the size and scale comparison you're going to get with the MEZCO Superman figure. Personally, I think that he could have been just a little bit taller, but it's not something that makes or breaks my desire and my like for this figure. Overall, I'm incredibly happy with it. Seriously, if you're a Superman fan and you can find this for reasonably cheap, you should pick it up because it's only going to go up in price. Anyhow, that brings my review of the MEZCO 1/12 Collective Superman action figure to a close. I think I've said everything about it that I'd like to say about it. I'm sure other people have a different take on it. They might have gone into a little bit more detail about some of the things that appealed to them about this figure, like maybe attaching all the little flight things onto this. I personally never pose my figures with these, so I'm sure someone else would have done it, so check out some other people's videos on the 1/12 Collective Superman figure. But this one brings mine to a close, so thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. If you appreciate this video, found it helpful, insightful, funny at all, please leave a like on it. Leave any comments you have down in the comment section below, because I do like to hear from you. If you think you'd like to see more of my sort of content show up in your inbox, just hit the subscribe button. Remember to ding the bell so you never miss a video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Have a splendid day, everyone. Bye for now.